Okay guys, I'm going to go over how to do unit conversions. So just a note is just to make sure that we're canceling our units because our units can be sneaky. So these are the steps. You can write them down and we're going to go through them as we go through some problems. So we first write the number and the units, set up your units so that they cancel, put the numbers in the right spot, cancel those units, and then write your answer and units using the correct number of sig figs. Okay, so here's a couple examples. We'll start with this first one. And as we had here in our steps, we're going to start with step number 1. And so that is to write the number and the units. So our number here is our 45.3 centimeters. So we're just going to write that here, 45.3 centimeters. Okay, so now we are ready for our second step to set up your units to cancel. And so if we remember from math class that if in order to cancel things, we have to have it on the top and the bottom so that they can cancel from our fraction. So because of that, we want centimeters to cancel because we don't want it anymore. So we're going to put centimeters down here so that it can cancel. So that means at the top, we have to put our millimeters, which is what we want to go to. And that is our second step. Our third step is to put the numbers in the right spots. This is referring to our unit conversion. So I told you that 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. So that means we're going to line up our 1 and our 10 in the appropriate spots. Okay, now we're going to cancel the units. So I'll use a different color for that, but you're just going to show that you're crossing out the centimeters because centimeters cancel. This I'm going to be really picky on, so I would really like you to include this, and I will take off points of your assignments if you do not show that you're canceling and what is canceling. Notice that our millimeters did not cancel, so we do not cross them off, as well as the number. Just the units themselves cancel, so don't cross off the number either. So then we can now go to our step number 5, where we write our answer using the correct number of sig figs. So you can use your calculator if you would like for these. Some of these are pretty simple that you could probably do in your head, but because the numbers here are on the same side, they're both on the top, we're going to multiply. So we'll do 45 times 3, or 45.3 times 10, and that's going to get us 453. And we can't forget to include our unit, which is now millimeters because our centimeters have canceled. And then the last thing we need to check is the sig figs. So we go back to our beginning and look at our beginning number, 45.3. Because we're multiplying 45.3 times 10, we're going to use our sig fig rule and not the decimal place rule. So because of that, 45.3 has 3 sig figs, and then our conversion factor of 10 that we multiply, it actually has infinite number of sig figs because it's a precise number, and our conversion factors, when I give it like this, it will be infinite. So that means our final answer needs to have 3, and that is what we have. So we know that this is our correct answer. Okay, so we're going to try that again with our next practice problem. If you want, you can pause it and try it for yourself before we go through it. Okay, so we're going to start from the beginning. We have 57 milliliters. And then now our second step is to write our units so that they cancel. So that means since we have milliliters on top, we're going to need to put milliliters on bottom and liters on top so that they cancel. And now I put the numbers in the right spot. We have 1,000 and we have 1. We need to cancel our milliliters so that we're left with liters. And we can put it in our calculator. This time we're going to divide because that 1,000 is on the bottom. So we'll do 57 divided by 1,000. And we get 0.057 from our calculator. And so we have our unit, we have our number, we need to check sig figs. We started with 2. Again, 1,000 has infinite, so our smallest number is 2 sig figs, and our answer here also has 2 sig figs, so we're done. Okay, we have a couple more, so you can try this one on your own. Okay, so this one, we start with 23.0 millimeters. And then we'll put our millimeters down here so that they cancel. Centimeters up here. And then put our numbers in. We have 10 and 1. Both of our millimeters cancel. And again, we're going to divide 23.0 divided by 10 because it's on the bottom. And our calculator spits out 2.3 centimeters. But we need to double check our sig figs. Here, this number has 3 sig figs, and our 10 here, because it's a unit conversion, it has infinite number. So because of that, we want our final answer to have 3 sig figs as well. So that means we need to put a 0 here to show that that 0 is also significant. So that is why we're always wanting to check our number of sig figs. Okay, and let's try this last one. You can pause the video and try it on your own. This one we will do 5.2 liters. Put our liters down here, milliliters on top. Put our numbers in place. Cancel our units. So now we will put 5.2 times 1,000, which is 5,200 milliliters. We can check our sig figs. This one has 2. This has infinite. So our final answer will have 2, which it does, because remember these 2 trailing zeros are not significant because there is no decimal point anywhere. Okay, so a lot of times I'm going to be giving you the unit conversions, but there's sometimes that I have where you will not be given it. So I'm going to give you this acronym to help you out. King Henry died badly drinking chocolate milk. So this stands for kilo, hecto, deca, base, deci, centi, and milli. So these are our prefixes. An example of this could be with meters. So this base is referring to meters, and this could be lots of different things. We could use grams, we could use liters, and then we'll have our prefixes mean the same thing. You use them all exactly the same way. This is just an example. So we have kilometers, hectometers, decameters, meters, decimeters, centimeters, and millimeters. Okay, and how we use this is, say we're wanting to go from meters to millimeters. So what we're going to do is I usually just write out our acronym. King Henry died badly drinking chocolate milk. Okay, so we're starting with our millimeters, which are our base unit, and then we're moving 1, 2, 3 places. And so that means we have 3 places we're moving, so we're going to have 3 zeros in our numbers. So we're going to have 1,000, and the other number is always going to be 1. So now is the tricky part. We have to figure out, are there 1,000 millimeters in 1 meter, or are there 1,000 meters in 1 millimeter? And you have to think about which one is bigger, and the one that is bigger is going to go with the 1 because we'll need more of the smaller unit to equal 1 of the larger unit. In this case, we'll have 1 meter goes into 1,000 millimeters. And we can try this a couple different ways too. Say we are going a decameter to a kilometer. So here now we're going 1, 2. So that means our zeros, we're going to have 2 zeros. So you have to think about, are we going to have 1 kilometer in 100 decameters, or 100 decameters in 1 kilometer? And kilometer is bigger, so that means it's going to be the one that has a 1, and then our decameters, we're going to have 100 decameters then in a kilometer. If you get confused about which one is bigger, I usually think about how King Henry is a proper name, so we're going to capitalize it. So the bigger things, the farther to the left it is, the bigger it is. Okay, so we're going to solve problems the same way, just now I did not give you the unit conversion. You have to figure it out yourselves. So you can pause this if you'd like to try it on your own. Okay, so this one, our steps are still the same, 14 millimeters. And our millimeters are going to go down here and meters up top. So now we need to figure out what our unit conversion. So King Henry died badly drinking chocolate milk. We're going from our millimeters, 1, 2, 3, to meters. So our base then, we're going to have 1 meter equals 1,000 millimeters. So now we'll put our 1,000 down here and our 1 up here. We'll cancel our millimeters and we'll divide 14 divided by 1,000 is 0.014 meters. And now we check sig figs. We have 2 and our 1,000 has infinite again. So our answer will have 2 and it does. Remember that those first 2 zeros are on the left of our 14, so therefore they are not significant. So we're still good on that. Okay, let's try one more. Okay, so this one, 35 kilograms. And we're going to grams. So King Henry died badly drinking chocolate milk. We're going from kilograms to grams. So 1, 2, 3. So our 1 is going to be our bigger thing, and our 1,000 will be our smaller thing. And then we now put the numbers in. Cancel our units. And now we can stick this in our calculator if we would like. And put our unit. Check our sig figs. We have 2. Our final answer is 2, so we're good. Okay, so this is the ticket out the door that you missed if you were gone from class. So you can turn that in.